Warning: the following video may have language that some viewers may find offensive, and others are already offended. Viewer discretion is advised, but not really. No animals were hurt in the making of this 4-hour feature film.
Hey everybody, we got a pretty interesting guest here on the Full Monty today. This fella started his political career, let's say back in high school. He became the president of the student council, and that set off a spark for doing political things. Back in the 80s, he was a commissioner for the PUC here in St. Thomas. I don't know if that gives you a clue to anybody. And today, he now currently sits on St. Thomas City Councillor, somebody I've known here for a little while now, and very happy to have in. So welcome to the seat,
Thanks.
Gary Clarke.
Thanks very much.
Hi, Gary. Thank you for coming in.
Great to be here.
I really appreciate it. So one by one, we're getting council in here. And
Okay.
we just did a taping this morning with a councillor from Elmer, and that was pretty interesting to learn some of their stuff and what's going on and some of the trials and tribulations that they've been going through, eh? And especially this councillor, we talked about integrity commissioner and things like that.
Right.
You know, I some people, when they hear that word integrity commissioner, they just shrivel up. And I kind of like it, the fact, because you're standing your ground.
Right.
And I think that takes a big person to do that. You don't cave in. You're not a fence sitter. It's not always good to be on a council where you can just rock either side. You know, you want to have opinions. You want to be fair, but there's beliefs. There's beliefs you want, right?
Yeah, that's why you run.
Yeah.
You run because there's things you believe in and things that you want to get done, and hopefully people work with you, and if not, then sometimes there's bumps along the way. But
there are some,
and that's probably what you were talking about.
Yeah, it was really interesting. So let's start off. Let's go way back to when Gary was a wee little yad.
Yeah.
Where'd you grow up?
Right here in St. Thomas.
Okay.
We were living on 58 Dieppe Drive over by the Homedale Plaza.
Oh, on Dieppe, yes.
Right when the plaza was being built and that whole new subdivision was going up. Yeah. So it was just a neighborhood full of kids because everybody was young families all at that time.
Now, back then, did Fifth Ave, was it
had just
cut off at that time, or was it just...
They had just pushed it through, filled it in, I think, because of the plaza, because of the the new subdivision and stuff.
So how much trouble did you get over there into at the plaza area, did you?
Oh, we loved to get those big boxes from Cars Delivery.
Did you?
They'd have the the fridge and fridge boxes and things like that, and get in there and take them home and build forts, and it was great. It was great having the Mill Creek ravine in behind there too.
Yes.
So you could play in the gully, and then in behind Duncork Drive, the hills for tobogganing in the wintertime.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because even when I had Jeff Kohler in here, and Jeff grew up actually in the north end of town here, not too far from where we are right now. And I like to ask everybody, you know, even Jeff Urich, I asked when he grew up over towards Fairview and Elm area, but how much?
And then the other great thing was we were only a few blocks away from Pinafore Park, so in those days you had the good winters where you could skate on the ice. And
now, what do you think of the change? Like, think back to Pinafore when you were a kid to what you see today. Do you miss a lot of the stuff that?
Well, the biggest thing is just the winters were so much colder, and the ice was thick enough that you'd get home from school and you'd skate till it was dark.
You know, I see the pictures of the train that used to be there.
It was
things
great.
That we used to have there.
Yeah.
Still, a lot of people to this day don't even know about the ferry that where all those people drowned.
Right. Yeah.
In Pinafore.
That was quite early on. So.
You look at it now and you think, no.
Yeah.
Like that's no. But yeah, like I mean, that was days gone by. But there was tragedy in that park.
Yeah.
You know that happened.
And even back in the 40s, they had cottages at the back end.
Yes, that's right,
you
too.
could rent, they call them tourist
Now, was that
cabins.
back by the Van Shell area back
Yeah,
there?
back
now?
in
Is
there.
that where the cottages used to be back there?
I believe so, yeah, from looking at the pictures, yeah.
It's way before my time. So
Yeah, but interesting that that people would want a vacation.
Absolutely.
In there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So tell me, come on, it's only you and me here right now.
Sure.
Okay, so what was some of the skeletons in your closet as a kid growing up? Did you ever
Really?
did you ever, other than running around playing Nicky Nicky Nine Door or something like that, but
No, we're not a whole lot of
like
mischief.
Jeff said, he was a good kid.
Yeah, I can't believe him, but no, basically we're so busy playing sports. You're playing baseball, you're playing road hockey.
Road hockey.
We were lucky because once the plaza closed at night, you had the whole parking lot there.
Okay.
So yeah, you're just busy. I mean, you might grab the bumper in the winter and go for a ride.
Oh my God, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And then
back in Mitchell, we did that bumper riding. Yeah.
And then a few snowball fights because once the parking lot was plowed off, you'd have huge mounds of snow that you could hide behind and peg off a few cars with snowballs. But no, mostly it was just sports and.
Do you know? I remember the snows back then, though. I remember walking down the sidewalk and having the banks tower over me.
Yeah.
Nothing like you don't see that today.
No, it's probably partly because we were little. Yeah, we were little guys at the time. Yeah.
I know. That's right. So you're growing up. You're into high school. You get into council or you become president of the student council.
Yeah.
So what made you get into?
I had been class rep, and I was always interested in history and civics and stuff, and ran for student council and was successful.
Oh, yeah.
And then took history at university. Like I continued on with that interest in those topics.
Now, what was the other kids' perception to you when you wanted to run for council? Like back in my day in my school, if you ever wanted to run for that, they're like, "Yeah, you're a weirdo. You're a nerd." Whatever.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I played sports and was active, with basketball and volleyball and soccer. So. Oh. I think I was just seen as
so you're one of them jocks that had the girls on the arms, and
not really.
Us little guys were like, "Oh, we're so envy of you." Not really.
Not really.
Oh, okay. So you became president of student council. How was that? Was that a lot of fun for you?
Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah. And I think the other factor that got me in thinking about politics and things too is. At the same time, in those years, in the 70s, my dad was a member of the school board, Catholic school board.
Oh, okay.
And then he also served, he was on the Elgin St. Thomas Planning Board back in the day when Howard Gibson was the engineer and Case Donker and Lou House, that era. So I always saw him active in politics, and so I guess...
Yeah. Now, what schools did you go to for public and then high school?
Went to Elgin Court for kindergarten because.
Oh, did you? Okay.
St. Rafe's was just being built and didn't have kindergarten yet, and then went to St. Raphael's, then on to St. Joe's.
In St. Joe's.
Yeah, and then went to Western and Queens.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What did you take at Western?
I took phys ed. I took history, and then when I went to Queens for Teachers College, I took history and phys ed as my two majors.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
One of my guests before we were talking, and I said, I love history now. Like, I love our history here. Elgin is so rich in stuff. And even St. Thomas, the certain things we have here. And going through school, though, I hated history and geography. It was math. I loved math growing through my even in high school. I'm not going to get into geometry and all that other stuff, but no. But strictly history now, I can't get enough of it. I love walking our cemeteries. Yes. And looking at names and dates and think, every one of those names and dates on those stones led us to where we are today. Yeah. It's like building that huge apartment building, and each one of our lives are, a floor. And we all contribute to that, right?
And that's an interesting thing about being on council is you get to learn so much about the history of St. Thomas. a building goes down, or you want to build something somewhere, and you get the background of that property or that house.
Look what we just went through.
Yeah.
Again, when we lost the recent fire we had on Talbot Street there.
You end up learning so much of the rich history of that building.
Yeah.
And it's too bad we had to learn about it after the fact.
Exactly. I was just going to say that. Is why does it take something like that before? Like, we as humans are dumb.
Yeah.
We really are. We are the cruelest animal on the planet. We're very destructive, yet we don't really honor things that we've had or currently have until it's gone.
Yeah.
And then we reflect and go, oh, boo. Like, that would have been amazing to have this, or I wish we could still have this. And, we don't look at what we currently have and our history all downtown. You look at those buildings. I've watched Steve Peters talk about different facades on buildings and brickwork and signs and things that get uncovered. And just recently, I even thought about taking my big camera and going building to building. Worked my way down Talbot and taken 10 to 20 photographs of each property,
right?
And then putting a whole catalog of that downtown area, just log it. And now I wish I had done at least the one, right? But sometimes we have people that make decisions for us that
that was unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. I can see other properties is happening too also that, they sit derelict, or this was getting renovated. I mean, this just happened to be one that was picked on that, by an individual that we've had a lot of problems with. It's, the police chief put out a whole prolific offender. I've had experiences with him going on Talbot Street myself. I think a lot of viewers probably have had issues with this one particular person. But anyway, to see the facade of our downtown, it's going to take a long time to get used to that gaping hole down there now, right?
And it does prevent an exciting opportunity too, though.
It does. Well, for those doors that shut, there are quite a few that do open.
Yeah, and so my big thing is I just wish some of the out of town landlords would move on their properties.
Yes.
Either set the rent at a rate that a small new business get in there and get started.
I'm going to jump a little bit ahead here, but I have had, I've had Rose in here before, Councillor Gibson, Councillor Kohler has been on the show. I've had the mayor on the show. Was council at one time not coming up with some kind of a penalty for landlords that were not fixing up properties? Like, was there not? Did that ever get implemented?
We had a report from the treasurer's office on kind of what we can do and what we couldn't do, and we were because we wanted to be able to, maybe fine them or charge them a different tax rate.
That's where I was told.
Things like that. Yeah, and it came back to us that our hands were really tied. Really tight. You couldn't do much really. Yeah. Other than work with them and try and encourage them to.
So you don't. So really, as that part, your hands are tied. You're more into, especially when we're getting into safety concerns of a building. Now you're into the fire prevention office and building code.
Right,
would be enforcement.
And then you can, the enforcement side of thing, which is unfortunate because oftentimes that's too late. They've let the building get along too far. The other side of it, though, is we've been trying to enhance the improvement side of things, where we have capital grants, where if they want to improve those properties, and sometimes that's nudged a number of them along because it's expensive to maybe rework the second and third floor of a building, and so we've met with a lot of success. There's been probably the last 5-6 years the most movement on renovations and repurposing buildings that we've seen. The rate for rentals in terms of being empty is at its lowest in 5 or 6 years. The downtown development was saying it. So there's a lot of new small business starts, but it's such a long main street that it looks spread out, and there's a number of unoccupied.
The one thing I miss, and I know today's world it's very hard to do, but Mitchell still has it. That's where I grew up. My hometown is Mitchell.
Yeah.
They had, and I think we had it here too, but you used to have the vertical parking Not the parallel parking that we have now where you got to pull in. They used to be on the angles.
Yeah, Tillsonburg.
Tillsonburg still have that? I haven't been down there in a long time, but I know Mitchell. I was just through it the other day.
Yeah.
Last weekend, actually, I was in Stratford, Mitchell. And they still have that. You pull in. I know it's hard today with the size of everybody's got trucks and these SUVs.
Right.
And you're sitting there with your little putt-putt trying to come out and you can't see what's coming, right? But I miss those old days of the parking when you used to go down and park in front of the store you wanted. For every spot that we take up now, for a vehicle was like 2 spots of the pulling in, and you could put a lot more cars down there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just in that generation where that seemed to be, that's kind of like home.
Right.
I just remember that growing up. And
it was nice. But the biggest problem is that people's shopping needs and wants have changed so much.
Oh, yeah.
All the mom and pop stores that you used to see in the 50s and 60s.
Well, we didn't have box stores.
Yeah,
the big box
and now
stores,
the big box stores have come along, and everybody wants to park right beside the place, and they don't want to walk from the back parking, and so it's just...
Well, that's it. They still would rather go to Walmart than go even to the mall.
Right.
Because I don't want to walk through the mall.
Yeah. So it's just,
I don't want to walk down Talbot because I don't want to have to go here by... say down by Legends area, and then I got to go all the way up by the Art Center to get something. Oh, then I got to come back and get across from City Hall.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. They, I to walk Talbot is so much fun.
Yeah.
It's a cool area, and I've walked it day, night, through the night. 2, 3 in the morning, I've been down Talbot Street when I drove cab all those years.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, every city has problems, and some lately it's been a lot worse than times that we've had, but I've never had an issue. It never bothered me.
I think Talbot Street is thriving. And it reflects the heart of your city. If your downtown isn't vibrant and with things happening, then...
And I'll say it, and I've said it to everybody else, and I just was on Mayor's Update, not this past one, but the other one. I went on with Graydon. I wasn't on the show, but I typed in and I just said, I asked about how council comes to decisions about what roads get done or not, because the one thing, and I've always proposed this too, our West End coming into the city, oh my God, awful, especially Old Talbot. We have Jumbo, such a tourist attraction. Everyone wants to see Jumbo, and you come down that road and it is just disgusting. It is just broken apart, something fierce. And I always laugh because every time my other half and I go out for our drives, and then we come up Old Talbot from Sunset, and you get the big bridge here, beautiful, and you take a right and you come up the hill, and oh shit, I'm in St. Thomas now. You can tell.
Oh really?
All the way. Oh, it's a terrible road. But Joe was telling me about infrastructure and when things are coming up, and like we don't want to pave a road, and then 3 years we got to dig it all up to redo everything. So I get it.
Yeah. So we're trying to do sewers at the same time as surface work.
Yeah. But, So when I look at that road now and I see how bad it is, even for the last few years, I'm thinking, all right, I know this one's coming up. So it's got to be, because of the amount of the degree of badness it has. I know it's got to be coming soon. So. Yeah. That's a positive thing when I think of that. But so much stuff that's happening right now. So it must be pretty exciting on council right now. With all the changes. And, of course, we have all the building going on not far from me here with the battery plant. And I just watched the Beehive talking about the night paving going on there on Highbury. And so much changes. Joe was talking about on Mayor's Update from the roundabout South Edgware and Highbury now, the new one there, and South Edgware going all the way basically to Waterworks Park once the new plant gets built up in the water tower line and that up there with the new sewage plant.
Yeah.
So all the new piping area is going to come in, that like the changes that we're going to see here.
Yeah, it's going to be phenomenal. It's really generational change. Mm-hmm. We lost Freightliner, and we lost Ford, and now this is replacing that. And there's so many good jobs that are going to be available for our kids, our grandkids, and their kids.
They say is it, an average from a new plant? You're talking about 40 years. Yeah, as a kind of an average of life.
And there's so many spin-offs. There's going to be, we're talking with 2 or 3 other large companies about locating in that park. You know, they want to be near Power Coast. So there's a lot happening behind the scenes that you kind of have to grin and bear it when you look at social media and people doubting the whole thing. But you know, it's happening. There's the huge investments that the province and the feds have put towards St. Thomas. You know, even if the battery plant didn't happen, we're in such a good stead with all the infrastructure that we've got. We're going to need the new sewage treatment plant, you know, 20 years out, 25 years out. Well, anyways, so now we've got it now for the plant, and that property is so huge. We're going to be talking. I'm sure we've let them know. Make sure that they put that plan in a position where there has to be a buffer zone all the way around it. So there's an opportunity for some really neat recreational facilities out there. Mm-hmm. There can be, pathways. It could be another whole park, 2 or 3 soccer fields, baseball diamonds.
Well, I see things maybe like that. I see
a cricket. People want a cricket field now.
Yeah.
So there's lots of opportunities that are going to happen because of that.
Yeah, I can see where they little strip malls like what we have on Fifth Ave. Yeah. Where you grew up, things like that have maybe there's a bar up there. There's going to be a grocery store. There's going to be there's going to be a lot of people in that area.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's where now is when you want to dream and plan on what you could put in there.
Yeah.
If you're an entrepreneur and you want to have your own business, will it be something that you can get up in that North End and, tailor it to?
And the tax base that, the industrial revenue that's going to come forward for the city is going to allow us to do a number of things. One of my kind of pets that I want to start pushing right now, and it's on council with a review of Valley View. I mean, we haven't increased the size and the number of beds at Valley View since it was built, and we were 27,000 now, or we're going to be, we're about 44, and as we keep growing. So there's beds at Valley View. There's the day program that we haven't expanded, and there's waiting lists there for people. We're serving about 70 people, and the city's growing so much, and so
the demand for that is really increased.
Yeah, people are living at home. They're helpers and just their loved ones that are looking after them need those breaks with the day program. Yep. And then the other thing, we've done a lot of work with the homeless, but we haven't done much lately with senior housing. And so there's a big gap there, and the need is there for the number of seniors in town that need subsidized housing. And so I think that's something that I really want to push over the next few months and year. Yeah.
We need somebody on there to really get about, not even just seniors housing, absolutely, but I have it here too, like rent, and it's not the company that I work for. It's general. It's everywhere. It's a market rent. But it's people can't do it. They just cannot do it. And the amount of stress that it's putting on other services and everything to help these people.
Right.
I mean, the only way now is to go out and get a $2,000 2-bedroom apartment, and you have to split it with someone.
Yes.
That's the only way that typically, unless you're already getting a $150,000 a year job, that you can do it on your own. But the $750 a month apartment's gone. We're never going to see that again.
And young people even trying to get a first house, unless, if they're not married, they can't.
No, they can't do it.
You got to have the two incomes.
You got to have the two incomes. You got to have your parents backing you. There's got to be guarantors in there.
So, and as you said, it's all about market.
Yeah.
And so if we don't start to invest as a city in some of the subsidized stuff to help people along, there's going to be a shortage of housing because so many new jobs coming.
Yep.
That it's great that we've got a lot of these new apartment buildings, but we can't be just filling them with people selling in Toronto or Kitchener or Waterloo or somewhere.
Excuse me,
we need something for our town and our people, and so we've always been a blue collar town.
Yeah,
and
thanks for saying that, because I know that's
I think so. We really got to start looking after our own people.
Absolutely,
and I think the subsidized housing for seniors and even some looking at the aging population of our special needs kids and adults. Where are they going to live? So many of them are living with their parents right now, and as the parents age out, we need to come up with some accessible housing for special needs folks as well.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
I think it's time that the city, we've done a good job with the homeless. We're working on our third building with Indwell. And I really think we got to take a serious look at some of the other populations that, that we've served in the past.
Yeah.
We can't do it on our own. We know but there's grants from the province, and there's a new bill coming out for seniors, trying to keep them in their own homes.
Yeah.
And so we've got to look at those opportunities and make sure that we jump on those grants, and that we've got some shovel-ready projects ready. We know we've got some surplus property where we could put buildings, and so it's a matter of, let's make it a priority and let's get on it.
Let's get on it, yeah. I think another big one for council then is dissolving that red tape so we can get these things moved along and get them implemented quickly, instead of, we have to go through this, and then it's got to be this, and then we have to talk to this, and then this consultant.
One thing that our planning department is probably one of the tops in Ontario, and I can say that without a word of a lie. We hear that time and again from the work with PowerCo and the work with the other factories that are trying to come here. Between our economic development folks and our planning department, we have really streamlined the red tape. They cannot believe it compared to even when they're just talking with, locally, working with, say, London or somebody else.
Okay.
So that we have really, really stepped that up, because it's a competitive game. And
it is.
And if you, and time's money.
Yeah.
And so the more that you can shave off that red tape and make it a friendly place to build, and people want to come here, and they know that once they've done one project here, hey, St. Thomas was a good place to work, and I can make a buck, and I can be fair about it. They come back. You can see that's right. You can see what's happening at Alma College. You got the one tower up.
Yep.
Things went well. And
the second one's up now.
The second one's up almost a year ahead of what he kind of planned, and we've heard nothing but good things about how our planning department has worked.
What happened with that, though? You bring up that project.
Yeah.
What is the scope of the original facade that was supposed to be incorporated from Alma College? They were gonna. Is it still going ahead where they're going to have that?
There's going to the facade itself was kind of an old ruling, so that was put on the wayside. But what's being developed is a square with a large art piece, a sculpture kind of.
So with a memorial
of the facade,
Okay.
And there'll be benches, and there'll be storyboards, and
Nice.
some of the artifacts, and kind of incorporate. So when you walk through kind of the main gate, there'll be like a general park area that you'll get the main. You'll get the story of the site, and they are going to re-put up the posts and the arch, like the ironwork at the entrance, that kind of the old.
Yeah,
the old entrance that was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And they had promised that they will do the amphitheater as well.
I was going to ask about that. Is the amphitheater down there? It's still. I know after the demise of the college, then there was that big community uproar, and they went down and they cleared it right out. It was beautiful. And then they planted all flowers in there. It was beautiful. And then it just slowly.
Yeah, it's all overgrown, but the base is there, and.
Still there.
And it's still there, and the new owner has promised that will be part of the whole setting.
Cool.
And I think that's important, whether it's that's open to the public as a park, or whether it's open just to the people that rent there.
Even if it was private, but that is a beautiful location for weddings.
Well, yeah, and I think that's
what they could rent that.
You'll book it, or people that live in the apartments can have special.
I mean, if there's some monetary gain from it, if you owned it and were able to get a monetary gain from it, but by you doing the upkeep and stuff, it would make you want to keep doing the upkeep.
No, he's really promised that he wants to honor the local heritage and keep it
without any BS.
Yeah.
Were you one of the young guys back in the day that used to shimmy up the pipes in the back of the college to go visit some of the girls? Come on.
I got there for swimming lessons as a kid.
Yeah.
And then when I first taught, I was at Regina Monday College. So I brought busloads of guys over for dances. But I was on the chaperone end there.
Were you?
Yeah.
The day it burned, I was over there. The night before it burned, Scott Lusby, who was one of the police constables in town, him and me were actually in that building. I was doing a alarm response for a local security company at the time, and I got a call from the St. Thomas Police, said they had a big queue, they were really busy, they got these, all these kids were back in the college. Could I go over? As soon as the officer was clear, they'd send it over, meet me. Okay, I said, I'm on Highbury by Ferguson, coming in, I go over there, I park, I get out, and I start towards the building, car comes across the grass, his cruiser, and Scott Lusby gets out. And so we had to go through the basement window. That's, you could see where they had pulled the plywood off, and we went down through there, and we went all the way up the staircase. And anyway, I said to Scott that night, I said, you know what, I'm going to come back tomorrow. I said, that was the first time I was actually in the building.
Yeah.
I'd never been in it. And I'm looking around all the woodwork, and I said, I'm going to come back and bring my camera. This is just beautiful in here, though. It really was, eh? Anyway, next day, my coworker calls, says, hey, guess what? He woke me up around 11:30 or something. He's like, oh, my collar's on fire. And I'm like, no. And sure enough, I go down there. Right away, I get dressed, go down. And one of the fire guys, I think he was a captain, and he's got tears coming down his face. We're standing at the back, and I said, are you all right? And he just said, yeah. He said, I'm just thinking of the memories.
Yeah.
He said, this pipe right here, he said, that was my first, second, and third encounter with this girl. He says, I used to go up, and when one of the mistresses or the ladies that ran the place would come, he said, we'd fly out that window, grab that pipe, and shimmy down. He said, why do you think I became a fireman?
Oh, that's a great story.
I thought it was so good. Yeah. So everybody that grew up here, I always wonder, were you one of them that went up the pipe? Go see the girls. Oh, that's hilarious. So as you going through high school and stuff, so once you get out, what was your first job as a professional job? What did you do as a kid coming out?
I was a camp counselor, for a couple summers. And then, yeah.
Where was that? What camp?
Just Camp Orlando on Lake Fanshawe in London.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So spend 4 weeks there, and usually in July. And then about grade 11, I worked for Elgin County Road Crew.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Yeah. Back in that day, the Elgin County Roads Crew Department did all it wasn't done by township, like Southwold or Central Elgin. Yeah, they actually had out by Shaw's, the big county barns there.
Oh, yes, down Fruit Ridge Line?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And so worked there for 2 or 3 summers. You'd be I worked on the survey crew, worked on, roads crews. Just after construction was over, you'd have to go in and break the lawns and do the grass seeding, the planting and stuff like that. And
so you should be on our construction crew then that does after the snow clearing, the sidewalk plow, when he rips everybody's front lawns up.
Exactly. So we did all that, and then in university, I ended up working for the city for the engineering department.
Oh, did you?
Worked on the survey crews with the city. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just, I always kept saying, every once in a while I see city positions still coming up, and there's been a few. I'm like, geez, I don't know, maybe I should apply for that. But it's just, today's world is so technological. Like the technology and what they want you to know, and it's just, that's way off my... Yeah, I'm still old school, right?
I think looking back with the survey crews, it would take probably 3 guys, one guy in the instrument and guys on post on the poles and back and forth. And now you see one guy out there, and
it's one guy
with and it's all laser, and things have just changed so much.
It has changed a lot. I know. Sometimes I kind of wonder, is it for the better or not? I don't know. Yeah. I think it's just our generation, but.
So those were great summer jobs. You're outside. You worked with a group of people all the time. Crews. So you jump in a truck and you might have to ride to Rodney to go to work, or playing euchre at noon, hoping that the foreman would get interested in the game and keep playing for an extra 15 or 20 minutes.
That way you wouldn't have to go out.
Wouldn't have to go back to work. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So. That's right. You always pictured, though, over the years, you got your road crew or your county guys, whatever, you see the hole in the ground, the guy in the backhoe, the 4 people standing there in the shovels like that.
Yeah.
And you think, and then one guy down in the hole digging.
Yeah, no, that wasn't us. They had us busy.
Did they have you busy?
Yeah.
Okay, you had to work.
Yeah.
So what made you want to get into politics in the city?
Yeah, I think once I retired, I'd always been interested. Back in the '80s when I was on the PUC, I had considered council, but
Did you?
I was a teacher then, and then I got appointed as a principal.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Okay, so where was this?
So I was a principal at St. Raphael's, and then at Morrison, and then over at St.
really?
Joe's,
Oh, wow.
and then over at JP2 in London, and then I did a short stint at Mother Teresa, and then I became a superintendent with the board.
Did ya?
And so I had an area of schools and different responsibilities.
I never saw you as a principal type.
Oh,
Just-
yeah.
No.
Yeah. So, and then I coached all that time. And so with a young family, my wife actually worked at City Hall. She was in economic development with Morris Beaudry.
Okay.
They were the team that brought Freightliner here.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Okay.
So I've always kind of knew the workings of City Hall through her.
Yeah.
She worked in the clerk's office, worked her way up through that
Okay.
with Bob Barrett when Bob Wendell's father-in-law.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
And Peter Leake was
Peter Leake, yes.
those guys. So
Okay.
so just with a young family, coaching, and then becoming a principal, there wasn't enough time to get into politics. So it always kept it in the back of my mind that when I retired, that would be something that I would like to try and do.
Okay.
And the way it timed out is I retired from here, and the elections were coming up, but I got a gig. I became a principal in the Cayman Islands. And,
Yeah, really?
We went down there for 2 years. And so then I think it was just right when we came back, Elaine's dad was sick, Ray Barnier. He was a police officer in town.
Okay.
And so we came back a year early. I think the election was right then, and it was too much of a rush to try and run or anything. So when the next election cycle came up,
next one.
that's when I thought, well, I'm retired now.
Sucks so you had to wait 4 years again. Eh?
So here I am 12 years later and still enjoying it. Yeah.
Well, the past 2 elections, I actually was ready to go myself. And then I didn't. The one year I was almost like I had everything ready to go. And then, of course, Rose was running, so I was helping Rose. I got on there with Jeff Kohler, was supported with him. But Mark Cousins was going to run for mayor. And I really wanted to get that mayor out at the time. I said, no, we needed to change. So I dropped a ring, and then I did some videos for Mark, and that's who I ran. Well, anyway, we all know what happened there. But anyway, I missed all that. Next election came, and then with Jeff, I was out doing signs with him, and Rose, for 2 terms there, I was thinking it was with her 3 tries, and then I did videos. The last one, I campaigned with her, went all up to Lake Margaret. We hit that area hard, and then, my God, she got in. But I said to Jeff Kohler and our mayor, one night, I got those 2 together, and I said, you got to do me a favor. I said, if Rose does not win this election, doesn't get on, said the city has to give her an award for the most determined.
Yeah.
Because I said the amount of time and I'm so happy she never gave up, because
and I'm so happy she's on there. I sit
Yeah.
beside her, and she's just a wonderful, wonderful addition to the council.
She's phenomenal. I
Yeah.
mean, I've worked with her on so many other, especially the Legion and stuff that I've done.
Yeah,
but
she does her homework, and she cares about the community,
does. Yep.
and she's there for the right reason. And I think part of the reason why we've been successful as a council the last 2 or 3 terms is that we've got a group of people that are all there for the right reason. Mm-hmm. Nobody's there to try and build their resume to look at the next role that they might.
No, they actually have a love for this community.
Yeah, that they want to be the the next MPP or MP or whatever. Like everybody's there and working hard for the city, and I mean we've got a wealth of experience with.
Somebody asked me why the last time I was going to run, why would you, why do you want to? And I said because out of the areas that I have lived before, but I said I have so much love for this area. I love our city.
Yeah.
And I still don't even think of it as a city. It still has a hometown feel to it. It really does. I know so many people here. And it's just, I want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Like to say in history that at least I did something that's why I do these things. I don't charge for this. This is all my own money. And I try to bring people in from the community to introduce people in our business community and bring in, we had the president of the Chamber of Commerce in here. And, just talk about things like that. Now we have Elmer coming in and it's nice.
I think the time that it's great that there's so much cooperation.
Yeah.
Like between the Downtown Development Board and the Chamber of Commerce and, even our economic development people with that model where they're looking after the market, they're doing tourism, it's not silos where everybody's kind of doing their own thing.
You know what? And
everybody's trying to work together.
Paul Jenkins and I talked about that, president of the Chamber of Commerce, and we talked about the Downtown Development Board, the Elgin Business Resource Center,
right,
the EDC, everything, like how we all come together,
right,
to plan and talk about.
And council's been very open to listening to those ideas. Some councils just think because they're elected that they're the main focus. And we've been very open about listening and wanting ideas from people and trying to be a conduit to, if you got a good idea, how can we help you? How can we make it work?
And that starts from the top down. So when you have a mayor that actually will talk to people, I mean, there will always be decisions that mayor and council will make that not everybody is going to like. I don't care. You can't please everyone. I know that. We all know that. But it's a very open council. I mean, I've known pretty much every member of council for the last, 15 years, 16 years now. I've back from Rogers when I first filmed. Right. Cliff Barwick was mayor. When I first moved here, Jeff Kohler was mayor. And that's, never knew Jeff at that time, but I just remember it was right at the end of his term in his seat there. But I just found it a very approachable council. And when I see online people, they're always asking questions, bashing this, whatever. And I said, but have you ever just wrote into them? If you just go on the city website, you can get a list of everybody's emails.
Yeah.
Phone numbers right there if you want to call them. But I like emails because it's a paper trail. So I can say, that way, if I was approaching you on a concern, but nothing ever got done, maybe just legitimately forgot, because I know you guys, sometimes you get a lot of stuff coming in. But at least I can always say, hey, back May 27th, I sent you this and I haven't got a reply.
Yeah.
At least you have that. So.
And we've been really working hard. Like, you get lots of calls. And so, and so you have to, gently tell people, I'm here to help you, but have you put in a customer service ticket as well?
Okay.
Because we've been really working hard with our people to respond to those. And I said, mention that you've talked to me. That way I'll get a response back, but then we can track it.
Okay.
Because as you said, it becomes a he said, she said. Somebody will say, well, I talked to so-and-so at City Hall in whatever department, and that was 3 weeks ago, and I haven't heard from them. And I called Councillor Clarke, and I haven't heard from them. And then you go back and say, well, no, it was only a week ago. And they're still working.
I'm sure there's lots of people come to you and they say, well, look, I was talking to Steve Peters 3 months ago and nobody's got back. Meantime, they never did.
And so to cut that out, we've asked people, because the other thing what would happen would be you're upset about something, so you call all 8 councillors. So then you got everybody working on the same thing, and then, and then we're all contacting department heads to find out what's going on. So we've really, really worked at that. If I get a phone call, thanks for calling, I'll do what I can. But fill out the ticket, because then you and I can both track it.
Yeah.
And we'll know whether or not that person or department is starting to move on it.
Okay.
So it's really worked out well. And our people know that, they're there to serve, and it's a customer base. We're not trying to, that old adage, you can't fight City Hall. Well, we're trying to serve people.
Yeah.
And so it's really worked out well.
And actually the staff there are really nice.
Yeah, and we've got the staff. We get the reports yearly on the number of calls, and we can, because the tickets come in, then we can see where the complaints are. And then you can go to those departments and say, okay, like when it's budget time, if there's a whole bunch of complaints about snow plowing, then hey, maybe we need to hire 2 more snow plows, or we need to be changing our minimum standards and things like that. Or if it's complaints about, noise complaints, well then maybe we need to change the bylaw because it's not working. But because people put in those tickets, we get all the numbers and all the aggravates, and we can track it and work on improving things for
as
the next
you
year.
see the city growing, though, do you see more bylaw enforcement officers coming? Are we going to grow that department? Has there been any talk of that yet?
Yeah, I think we just hired 2.
Oh, is there?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so there's the planning side of things, and then there's the building side of things, and but yeah, no, we've had to just for that reason.
Well, that's it, because I said I've seen our population growing, and we said probably by 2050 we could be 70,000 people.
Sure.
Like, who knows?
Yeah.
How many once these factories come?
And if you don't have those officers doing it, then the police are getting those calls.
Yes.
And they've got other things to do, right?
Yes.
That's not their job.
That's
so
right.
we've expanded those roles and expanded the hours, and more weekend work as well.
Yeah,
so that we can so that we can meet those calls when they happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I know after the city, I do believe, had a contract with the police so that one city hall hours kind of thing were done.
Right.
There was no bylaw. Police were actually to do that, but then when you would call police, they would try their damnedest to not have to do it, right? Because I know they're busy.
They're busy on other.
They are busy, and I understand that my parking complaint or something that's happening is not going to be a priority call for them. But on the other side of it, you're like, yeah, but guys, I understand you're busy, but you are still getting paid from the city. This is a contract. You still need to honor this. And I've had conflicts with that myself with this building, with issues we were having here. And I would call police at certain times because it was after hours. And then when I brought that up about the city contract, then, okay, hang on just a minute. And then they come back, okay, we'll have somebody over there in a few minutes. Yeah. So it just, if you're aware of things in the city and deals that are, things that we have already set up with other businesses and services, you know how to go around. So if I do write into council over something, normally it's either a good thing or I want everybody's a general idea to know. Yeah. I usually contact customer service, and then I'll maybe CC a counselor.
Yeah.
Somebody, might be Jeff or Rose or somebody that I think is more into that area of what I'm dealing with. Yeah. And then I think I've sent you, tagged you in before on stuff. So I don't try to nail everybody, but customer service is yours. And they call me back right away.
Oh, good.
There's a file actually that will open up that you can go in and see everything that you've done in the past too, and what's happened. And that's cool. Yeah. It's actually pretty good. So, Okay, so we're gonna get out of here soon because I see we're already up 47 minutes. So there goes my 30 again, right? Your future, Gary, for St. Thomas. What do you want to see? What is your love in the future for the city?
Yeah, that's a good one. I think the big thing for me is that we've invested and that we continue to invest in making this a place that you can work, live, and play in. That your grandkids and your kids can grow up in. That they don't have to move away. So that there's going to be jobs here. There's going to be houses here. There's going to be parks and recreation. We've got such a great location. I mean, we got the lake so close to us.
You know what? I just got done with Catherine with Elmer. Yeah, and we talked about that.
So we've got London. With special. We have our hospital, which is fantastic, and then if you need other specialized care, like the cancer center, there
really
it's
20 minutes away.
So as we grow as a city, it's just to be able to have the amenities that people can enjoy their weekends here. Kids feel safe, grandma feels safe, and there's things to do. But and all that happens if you have jobs. And I think that for us over the next 5 or 6 years, we're going to see that those jobs come back to St. Thomas, and therefore we're going to have the dollars, the tax dollars, to do the things that we need to do. We've got Pinafore, we got Waterworks. We're going to need another big park, I think.
Yeah.
And
growing
we may
up,
need another. We're working. We need an indoor pool. Another.
That's a big one.
The
right
Y,
there. Yeah.
the Y
Yeah.
is a great partner,
Yep.
and they may well be the partners with the new one, but their infrastructure is getting old.
Yep.
It won't make sense to have two.
It would be nice to have a St. Thomas Community Center.
Sure.
That has that kind of thing with a whole fitness pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We might need another ice pad. We need, people want volleyball courts, and the big one I keep hearing about is an indoor soccer facility. So
Yeah.
it all takes money.
Sure it does.
And so,
you can have anything you want in the world if you got the funds.
So as the city grows, those are the kind of things that I think people will want to have and to stay here and
But you know
enjoy.
what we're lucky on too is all these other communities that have this, we don't even have a cemetery. Like a city, St. Thomas, we have like St. Thomas Cemetery Company.
Right.
That's a total
private
upset,
company.
right, yeah. And we're approaching 200 years for that.
Yeah.
Coming up 2050.
Yeah.
It'll be 200 years for that business. Yeah. And we have the Elmdale and all that, but so really St. Thomas still has so much that we're growing.
Yeah.
That eventually I can see us having lands that where St. Thomas will have its own community center.
Yeah.
They will have their own cemetery at some point that, lands are growing, people are growing, like we're going to have to expand somewhere. So St. Thomas is going to get into it.
Yeah.
We're changing, but what do you see after growing up? You're on council right now. Two things.
Yeah.
So what makes you so proud of today when you talk about us here? And the other, flip it though, what breaks your heart at the same time when you see things today?
Right.
So let's start with the good though.
Yeah. I think the good is that we have invested in trails, in parks, recreation programs. Our police force, I guess police services is second to none. We've taken a proactive approach to so many things. I just think the city is poised for greatness. We've been very, very open. We've been collecting and buying property so that we could have that large industrial park out there because we knew we needed it.
Yeah.
And then we lucked out because we had so much of it built there. The timing was right. I mean, we beat out about 90 other cities from around the world.
Okay. For PowerCo?
For PowerCo itself.
Okay, just itself, yeah.
But that site was there. And so because we were ready, and because we were ready, then the province stepped in and, things happened with the annexation and all that. Yeah. But part of that was the foresight that we had to know that in order to grow and to be able to provide services, you can't rely on you can't be a bedroom community for London.
No.
So I think what I'm proud of and what I see as our future is that we're going to have these jobs because we had the foresight to invest in ourselves. And we've diversified. For so long it was just one automotive.
There was one basket and all the eggs were in there.
And so now you see, we see a lot of growth in all the local plants that have been reinvesting in building additions onto there.
My question. So we have this sign here. These are all the emergency services in Elgin.
Yeah.
Do you see, even in the future and how we are working now with all our neighbors?
Yeah, it's. I mean, maybe someday we'll be all integrated.
Absolutely.
As one thing.
Yeah.
You try to work together, but there's so many.
See, I tried to press Catherine on that from Elmer. We talked a little bit about that.
It's hard for us as the city to promote that because we're looked as we're the biggest part.
Yeah.
Right, and it looks like we're trying to take over, and so it's all about trust. And so we've had in the past the St. Thomas Elgin Planning Board where we had planning services for Central Elgin, Southwold, and St. Thomas. Okay. Had that for 40, 50, 60 years. Worked well. Okay. We've had different programs where we've worked together on tourism. That we have the fire departments work together already.
Right.
With common share programs. There's a little bit of purchasing, but not much. But so there's a lot of opportunities there. Cool. So I think in the future, as it gets more and more costly for small municipalities to do things, I think there's the opportunities to talk about how can we partner up, whether we all, whether we become one big.
I'm hoping maybe this winter I can bring it, but I would like to get the mayor of Central Elgin, our mayor, and then Josh Morgan from London, and have three of us sitting right here and talking about everything from the transit, from the bus that goes to Port to London and stopping, but what we can do to be more accessible to everybody. And I'd like to arrange it where I can get all three in here. Yeah. I think that'd be a cool show.
Well, and I think the county's talking about their roads right now, because they're talking about, when you have PowerCo coming in with, say, 3,000 jobs, and you have two or three other factories with 400 or 500 more, well, they all got to get to St. Thomas somehow. Mm-hmm. So they're coming in from Aylmer, they're coming in from West Lawrence, coming in. They're all coming in from on county. So we need to coordinate and work together, because they're coming in on all those.
Well,
Elgin
roads. Very well,
so,
Highbury from Ron McNeil north, it's going to get expanded.
Yeah, it's got to be.
It has to be.
It's got to be 4 lanes someday.
We're already at peak traffic periods on that road now, but it's just the attitudes. I've always said there's not a dangerous road. The road has never killed anybody. No. It's the people that are driving on them and the way that the people drive. Why we have such dangerous roads. Right. I never blame the road myself. I've traveled that road 3 times a day for years, back and forth. And I've seen some pretty bad stuff on that road, but though, as traffic intensifies and we get more and more people, so that is going to happen. Yeah. You're correct there.
And the other thing is, people that live in St. Thomas or around St. Thomas, I don't think they really care where their taxes are going. They just want to be able to, if I live wherever, I want to be able to make sure that there's a park my kid can go to, that he can play soccer somewhere. They want the amenities. They want to have those things. They want to have shopping where they can have shopping and things like that. So, as different centers grow, there's going to be shifts to boundaries one way or the other. And and if it's not, then it's more like, how can we save each other dollars? How can we work together? Maybe one municipality looks after, and we do this through the province already with housing. Yeah. Like daycare and childcare is looked at, through one group, and the city administers social services for the county and the city. So, there's ways of sharing out responsibilities so that you can cut down on overhead. I guess that's the way to look at it.
Okay, so final up. So what makes you sad when you see what's happening right now? Is there anything that kind of stands out that, geez, I wish we could do something with that?
Well, the sadness is the whole drug scene. Yeah. Yeah. There's so many people's lives have been affected by drug abuse, and it's unfortunate. It's our own families, it's our own members, and so
I think every one of us is affected somewhere.
Yeah, and so it's difficult when people get callous about it and say, "Hey, I don't want to see this in the downtown," or "I don't want to see this here or there." You have to remember it's somebody's son or daughter, and nobody had a little kid in grade 3 or 4 that said, when I grow up, I want to be having problems, and so for me, it's that's the sadness, and I think the province and the feds have to step up. Yeah. There's got to be dollars there. It's too many Band-Aid approaches. Yeah. And there's too much red tape, and there's too much. Every time you turn around, municipalities have to apply for this grant or that grant, and instead of coming up with a comprehensive plan at a different level that's going to work for the whole province or work for the whole country in terms of how are we going to approach this? The drugs are coming in from somewhere.
Well, you see it everywhere. So the old psych hospital. You hear everybody talk about that. There was an opportunity that maybe the government could have invested back in there, and we didn't have to take over the whole entire property. But I'm sure we shot movies there. I'm sure we could still use the the front buildings renovated, do whatever, but there was just opportunities to even look at. But a lot of times, but we're not the only community. I mean, every community is everywhere.
Just underfunded everywhere.
Yeah,
so I think they've got to make mental health. Try and find a psychologist, for a child psychologist. There used to be Vanier Institute in London. Okay. There used to be over by Sanitarium Road there a hospital. For kids that needed help, and there's just not the facilities and the number of specialized doctors and treatment beds until the province has to get serious about
those people turn to their families. Eventually families are forced to just turf them out because they can't deal with it themselves, and then it becomes a civil issue. Everybody's got to deal with it.
And when somebody has reached the point where they know they need help and they want help, you can't wait 2 or 3 weeks, or you can't wait a month to get them into treatment.
Yeah, you can't wait.
It has to be there, and there has to be a place to go. Yeah. And we see that all the time. I think too with the problems that we're having with the catch and release and the whole bail system.
Oh, that's horrible.
I mean, that's one side of it. But even in terms of those folks that need treatment, you don't want them spending 5 or 6 years in jail and coming out the same way. So what dollars are we investing in terms of drug treatment and mental health treatment for that population, so that there is a change?
Well, we have the detention centers, then we have correctional facilities. So the detention centers are like EMBC. That's a detention center. That's to hold you until you go through the courts, you get placed, then wherever you're sentenced. Now you go to correctional facilities. There is no correctional anymore. It's just basically if you make it that far, you're just kind of in. It's not. They don't have those doctors and all that again.
Right.
And again, government funding. They're not in there.
Yeah. So that's the sadness for me in St. Thomas is that we have people in need still.
Yep.
And they're not being looked after.
But I notice that we are the one community though that's really done a lot to help that area.
Yeah.
I mean, especially in the homeless thing, we've had other communities come here to see what we're doing.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
We got to be pretty proud of that.
You're right. I mean, we're a model for the province, and we're being told that. And our work with Indwell and in tiny homes and different projects that we've got, where it's not just housing, but it's supportive housing.
Yeah.
People need that support. People need to be able to make change.
We got people boots on the ground here that are willing to work. We need the upper governments to.
That's right.
Start funding it.
That's the
bottom
line.
They got to open the wallets. Yeah, exactly. Gary, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it. So, I don't know. You gonna stay on council then next term? You gonna run again?
I hope so.
You hope so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody. Gary Clarke, St. Thomas City Council, and we got a little insight into Gary's life and what he sees for the city. So I want to thank everybody for watching, and I hope you tune in again next time. All right. Take care.
Great. Thank you.
There we go. An hour.